Welcome. Today we will be doing an indoor and outdoor installation walkthrough for premium Lavella's mini split air conditioners. After opening the box of the indoor unit, locate and set aside all packed auxiliary items such as mounting templates, signal cables, product documentation, and any other included accessories. Flip the indoor unit over and rest it on its front side, making sure that your work surface is smooth and free of debris to prevent blemishes on the panel. Unhinge the bracket from the indoor unit's clips. Remove the mounting bracket and set it aside for later. Now we'll introduce the pre-attached components on the rear side of the air handler. There will be two copper pipe ends, some models including plastic caps on the end to contain pressurized nitrogen within the unit that can be pressed to release some pressure. You will also have an insulated flexible tube through which condensate water would drain through to the final point of drainage. Mounting preparation. Refer to the following diagram to ensure proper distance from walls and ceiling. Using the mounting plate and a level to mark mounting hole locations on the wall. Control cable wiring. Open the front panel of the unit to reveal the terminal block cover. Use a screwdriver to remove the fastening screw of the plastic panel to reveal the terminal block cover. Then use the screwdriver as leverage to pop out the panel to remove it. Close the front panel and put the unit on its side to reveal the signal cable opening. Unscrew the plate to the signal cable opening. Remove the middle small plastic knockout panel to create a slot through which the cable can exit. Next, take one end of the communication cable, usually the side with the spade terminals, and carefully fish it through the inlet hole. Carefully pull the end of the signal cable through the opening with enough slack to wire in all four of the individual conductors. Use a screwdriver to remove the fastening screw of the terminal block cover. Using a screwdriver, loosen the screws of the terminal block, which are used to secure the wire to each of the terminals. Unscrew the cable clamp below the terminal block and place it to the side. Insert each of the wires into their respective terminals, taking note of the wiring diagram located on the inside of the front panel. Use the screwdriver to securely fasten each of the screws, making sure the wires have good contact. Use the cable clamp to fasten the signal cable to the unit. Screw the cable clamp down tightly. Place the terminal block cover back into its original position and press down so that it snaps into place. Fasten the securing screw before closing the front panel of the indoor unit. Line set uncoiling. Carefully unravel the coil copper line set, which is the set of pipes that connects the indoor unit and the outdoor unit together. Use a stable and flat surface such as a table or the ground to stabilize and straighten the line set through a pushing motion. Continue until the line set has been straightened. It's recommended to have two people for this process. Connecting drain extension. Attach drain hose extension to the end of the drain hose. Wrap the connection point firmly with Teflon tape to ensure a good seal and to prevent leaks. Creating the wall hole. Determine the location of the wall hole based on the position of the mounting plate. Refer to the mounting plate dimensions in the manual. Using a core drill, drill a hole in the wall. Make sure that the hole is drilled at a slight downward angle so that the outdoor end of the hole is lower than the indoor end. This will ensure proper water drainage. Drill the mounting holes. After confirming, drill holes for all of the mounting hardware in the locations marked earlier. Standard drywall anchors are provided. Use field-supplied hardware for alternative mounting such as to wooden studs or other construction. Use the appropriate type of anchors for each application. For drywall mounting, insert each of the drywall anchors into the mounting holes and use a hammer or mallet to tap them in until they are flush with the wall. Mount the wall plate. Now place the mounting plate onto the wall and drive the provided screws into the drywall anchors to fasten the plate to the wall. The plate must be installed flush against the wall so that the indoor unit will be flush after installation. Space between the wall and unit can cause unwanted noise or vibration. Once the mounting plate is fastened onto the wall, double-check that it is horizontally and vertically level and secured flush against the wall. Wrapping the utility bundle. Now that the connections are fully made, the drain tube, line set, and signal cable can be wrapped with non-adhesive vinyl tape to simplify the passing of the bundle through the wall hole as well as provide some insulation. Wrap the bundle tightly and securely, making sure that the drain hose stays on the bottom of the bundle to prevent any water ingress or backflow. Passing bundle through wall. It's recommended to have a helper for this process. Slowly pass the wrapped bundle of refrigerant pipes, drain hose, and signal wire through the hole in the wall. Finally, bring the indoor unit toward the wall while the helper pulls the bundle from the other side and align the back of the indoor unit with the wall. Mounting plates top hooks. Using even pressure, push down on the bottom half of the unit. Keep pushing down until the unit snaps onto the hooks along the bottom of the mounting plate. Check both sides of the unit to ensure that it is flush against the wall and fully seated. Connecting the line set. Next, it's time for the line set connections. There will be 2 copper pipe ends. Some models including plastic caps on the end to contain pressurized nitrogen within the unit that can be pressed to release some pressure. Remove the plugs from the ends of the line set by holding onto them while turning the flare nuts. Carefully mate the surfaces of the male and female flares together and hand tighten the flare nuts onto both of the threads, using 2 wrenches, one to hold the pipe and the other to turn the flare nut. Tighten the flare connections to their necessary torque values. Ensure not to over-tighten to avoid risk of damage to the flares or under-tighten to avoid risk of leaks. Outdoor unit mounting. Prepare the outdoor unit mounting location, which should follow the parameters given in the installation manual. The outdoor unit can be mounted on wall brackets, on a slab, or floor brackets. The bottom of the outdoor unit will also drain water from the outlet port. Carefully lift the outdoor unit and rest it onto the mounting location so that the bottom feet align with the 4 fastening points. Use the appropriate hardware to fasten all 4 of the outdoor unit's mounting feet to their proper location. If desired, rubber pads can be used to dampen vibration. Next, use a screwdriver or power drill to loosen each of the screws of the terminal block cover on the outdoor unit, and remove the cover to allow for wiring the signal cable into place. The inner side of the cover often contains an electrical wiring diagram along with the serial number of the outdoor unit. Disclaimer: no electrical work has been shown on camera. All electrical work needs to be done by a certified electrician in accordance with local codes. So remove any protective caps to allow for wire to pass through. Start by feeding the signal wire through the appropriate hole until there is enough slack to comfortably wire it into place. Connect the wire according to the wiring diagram and firmly screw the U-lug of each wire to its corresponding terminal. Using the cable clamp, fasten the cable to the unit. Screw the cable clamp down tightly. Pull the cover over the terminal block and secure the cover into place using a screwdriver or a power drill. Refrigerant valves preparation. Next, loosen each of the screws of the refrigerant valve cover on the bottom side of the unit and remove the cover. Loosen the protective caps covering the valve's flare connections in the service port by hand or with the use of a wrench. The bigger valve is the low or gas suction side, and the smaller valve is the high or liquid side. The low side will have the service port where a pressure gauge can be connected. The 2 perpendicular points on the valves are the refrigerant release valves. Connect line set to valves. Remove the line set protective plugs. Carefully mate the surfaces of the male and female flares together and hand tighten the flare nuts onto both of the threads. Use a wrench to tighten the flare nuts to the proper torquing specs, being careful not to over-tighten the flare joints. Evacuating the refrigerant circuit. Connect the charge house of the manifold gauge to the service port on the outdoor unit's low pressure valve. Connect another charge hose from the manifold gauge to the vacuum pump. Next, fully open the knob on the pressure gauge to allow the vacuum pump to freely access the refrigerant circuit of the system, keeping the gauge in a visible place. Turn on the vacuum pump to evacuate the system. Run the vacuum for at least 15 minutes or until the compound meter reads -76 cmHg, -10 PA. Leave both the gauge and vacuum pump connected until all of the leak checking steps are completed. Leak checking and opening valves. Using a hexagonal Allen wrench, turn one of the refrigerant release valves counterclockwise for approximately 1/4 of a revolution to allow some positive pressure via refrigerant into the lines. Monitor the gauge pressure reading to ensure it remains the same after an hour has passed, indicating that there are no leaks present. Remove the hose of the pressure gauge from the service port once it has been confirmed that the unit is free of leaks. Use the hexagonal Allen wrench to fully open both of the high and low side valves counterclockwise until it reaches the stoppers. Be cautious not to strip the valves. Finishing up with outdoor unit. Place the cover caps back over the release valves and tighten them by hand. Put the service port protective cover into place as well and hand tighten. Use a wrench to tighten all protective covers to proper torque spec. Place the refrigerant valve cover back over the valves and slide it into place. Use a screwdriver to fasten the screws back in. With the electrical and refrigerant steps done, the outdoor unit installation is completed.